Elf is here to stay. Why are people still talking about it? Well, I mean, on the one hand, I get what you're saying. Clearly, they haven't banned Elf in such a long time that they might never do it. But it's still hard to come to terms with that because it's such a powerful card, you know? Like, it's so strong. It's like asking people to stop complaining about Maxx C, right? It's like, well, clearly they want Maxx C in the game, so they're never gonna ban it, so why complain about it? Which you have a point, but at the same time, it's really hard not to complain about Maxx C, you know? Like, if you want something to really improve and you're convinced that it'd be a better place without Maxx C, then you should keep bringing it up, I feel like. Maybe you're wasting your energy, right? Because if they're never gonna do it, you are wasting your energy complaining about it, but that's understandable. I am still very much looking forward to the next OCG ban list. They have a date for it though, right? Do they? What's the date for the next Master Duel OCG ban list? July 1st. Is that the announcement date or the you're gonna know what the hits are then? Effective date July 1st. Okay, but we don't know exactly when they're gonna announce those. I've said this before, but the reason why I'm so hyped to see that ban list is because it's the first ban list after they released the Maxx C replacement, right? And I am so excited to see whether they actually ban it or not. I mean, because like there's two outcomes to this. And they are so polarizing as possible, right? There's no way, like, either, look, there's two possibilities for the OCG. Either they released Molchummy Pirellia so they can finally ban Maxx C, and it would honestly be the most based way of doing it. Now they should have done it like 5 years ago, but still, it would be the most based way of handling the situation, right? Because on the one hand, you have people complaining about Maxx C. On the other hand, you have people that are afraid of what's going to happen if they banned Maxx C, right? Maybe they think the game is going to be a little bit too crazy, which honestly, in the TCG, sometimes that does happen, you know? Sometimes it happens. Sometimes there are decks in the format where you're really like, oh, against that deck, I think Maxx C would be justified, you know? Like, you look at, like, Super Heavy Samurai or something, and you're like, yeah, it's hard to argue against Maxx C if that's the deck that people are playing, you know? And so that's the situation, right? And so their solution is like, well, we're going to ban Maxx C, but we're going to give you a replacement. If that's what they're doing, right? That'd be super based. So if they ban Maxx C, this entire thing is super based, right? This situation is great. If they ban Maxx C and Molchummy takes its place as like a more fair version, cool. If they don't ban Maxx C, think about this. If they don't ban Maxx C, this is the complete extreme opposite of the spectrum in terms of based, and then it's like over here it's like they keep Maxx C in the game and they print another one. Like, what? That'd be so insane. So like no matter what happens, it's super polarizing. Like, it's either super based or it's completely ridiculous. They don't even play Molchummy. I mean, they not yet, right? I mean, but they have Maxx C, right? That does make a difference. And I'm pretty sure they do side it sometimes. They even cut Molchummy from Tenpai to play Phantasma. See, I think that's okay though. Like, I'm not asking for the replacement for Maxx C to be as ubiquitous as Maxx C. I think that would kind of defeat the purpose. I think what the card should offer is an option that you can play, like a good card that you can play in case there are things in the format that go a little bit too crazy, right? Not a card that is so broken that you can play it in every single deck without a downside pretty much, and it's gonna wreck everything in the format, right? Like, I think that's kind of like, I think that's kind of the point, right? It's like, it's not supposed to be everywhere like Maxx C. It's supposed to be a viable card that keeps some strategies in check without killing every single strategy. You know what I mean? So I would argue the fact that they are like siding Molchummy or playing it sometimes and most of the time don't need to play it because they have Maxx C, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, or like, because Molchummy is not a bad card. Like, Molchami is definitely not a bad card. Like, if that card releases in the TCG, I'm sure people will play it because we don't have Maxx C, and like this card, if decks are in the format that card's good against, people are gonna play it. I wonder if the OCG will become more combo heavy if Maxx C gets shot. I mean, if they ban Maxx C, they do have to do some stuff on the ban list, of course. Like, it's not just as simple as because of the things that I just said. If they ban Maxx C, Molchami is not a direct replacement. It's not as good as Maxx C, right? It's a good card, and it's meant to be kind of a replacement, but it's not the same. So you do have to tackle some combo strategies on a ban list if you ban Maxx C still. Like, a lot of the things that the TCG has already done, they would need to do at some point as well. But yeah. I just I can't get this. I just can't get the idea in my head that they make Molchami Parelia and then they keep Maxx C around, so now there's like quote unquote more copies of it. that'd be so insane to me. But yeah, maybe I'm just coping. Maybe I'm coping. Maybe that's what they're gonna do. They're not gonna ban Maxx C. And to be precise, the reason why I care so much about whether they ban Maxx C in the OCG, because like I don't play the OCG, so why would I care? The reason why I care is because two things. First of all, Master Duel is usually not entirely following the OCG's footsteps, but like, you know, if they ban Maxx C in the OCG, I think eventually they will ban Maxx C in Master Duel. And I care about that. And the next thing is comparability. I find it super interesting to look at OCG results and all that kind of stuff, but they are so heavily skewed by the sheer existence of Maxx C. It's such a format and game warping card that whenever I see a deck performing or not performing in the OCG, it's an indicator on how the deck is going to be in the TCG, but it's never, you can never be certain, right? Like, look at Unchained, a deck that didn't really do anything in the OCG and now is like also not doing that much in Master Duel, but literally was the best deck in TCG for like a long time. Plus future card design. That's actually a really good point. There's another thing about Maxx C that I really care about, and that is that I think, and I'm convinced, that in the OCG sometimes they design crazy combo decks because they want to cater to that audience that like crazy combo decks, but their argument for making those combo decks so strong is like, well, we have Maxx C to kind of balance it out. And then what happens is those cards get released into the TCG where we don't have Maxx C and they just run rampant, right? I think the perfect example of this was Super Heavy Samurai, which was like a deck. I'm like convinced that their reasoning to make Super Heavy Samurai as broken as it was because, well, the deck can't play Cross Out or Called by the Grave, so it's gonna get Maxx C'd a lot of the time, right? You only have Ash or maybe Gamma to stop it. So the win rate of Super Heavy Samurai is not going to be that crazy, right? Because of Maxx C existing, right? And then the deck came out in the TCG and was a massive issue. And even in the OCG, it was like super meta. Like they weren't even right. It even backfired for them. So, you know, and that sort of stuff I think would definitely be less, like it would happen less often because they would need to be more careful when they design combo decks because of Maxx C being banned. But yes, I've been testing with Chummy and it's been perfectly fine. I only draw 2 to 3 cards max. Yeah, I mean that's fine. That's perfect. I wish they merged both formats to one big game. I mean, I would love that. I would love if Master Duel, TCG, and OCG were the same game, but I think that's wishful thinking at this point in time. I think they've been doing this for like 20 years, and I don't think, yeah. But the only I'd have one condition for that to be a good thing. It's if the TCG gets to do the ban list. not the OCG people don't get to do the ban list. Then I'm fine with it. If they get to do the ban list, I don't want it.